Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money.
That was the intro, y'all. That was the intro. What's happening, ladies? Y'all all right today?
Good.
That intro. Oh, you know, I absolutely love it when I see Dr. Felice doing the Miss America wear. That lets me know everything gonna be okay. Listen, this is Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. Today's topic is, it's kind of a tough one, but it's important. Nelly, your boy Nelly, after facing backlash at Trump's inauguration, for performing at Trump's inauguration, he's calling for unity, stating, "I'm all for staying positive." Shut your ass up. But with Trump's approval rating at an all-time low, lower than any other president in the history of this country at 41%. And he's erasing Black history from schools. His inflation's rising. I don't know if y'all see today. He tried to strong arm the reporter to say some shit that wasn't true. He is just absolutely insane. Is there really anything to be positive about? Is it? I mean, is it? So we're going to break it down and unpack what's been happening in the world right now and ask these tough questions. Okay. But first, before we even get it cracking, we got the most beautiful, most amazing, most wonderful, most intelligent queens on the planet. I'm gonna start right here with my girl Vanessa. She's an entrepreneur. She don't got an AA. She don't got a bachelor's. She got a master's in public policy, y'all. All right. Then we have my girl Shalay. She is a real estate broker with a CEO of Vital Source Realty. I'm gonna bring it on down to my girl over here, Dr. Charm. She's a doctor, she's a psychic, and she's a stand-up comedian. She could deliver your baby, tell a joke, and predict your future. Girl, listen, we got all the right people. And then we have Dr. Felice. She is a therapist, and she is the coach. She's a B.big coach. Hey, she's a B.big coach. Hey, so we got, listen, and they all lit. They're all lit, and they're ready for the conversation. Oh, let me just ask you. I don't even know if I want to even ask. I was going to ask you guys, what do you guys think of the approval rating of the president? Do you think is this negative or positive? I'm gonna start with you, Vanessa. Is this a negative thing or a positive thing for Black people?
I mean, I think it's pretty on par for everything that's happening. If we're being honest, I think that when you nominate a thug, you know, you're going to get thug behavior. And we've been seeing a lot of thug behavior. Mm-hmm. So, you know, whether or not you were, are, and in fact are a Trump supporter, you know, you got to be honest about what's happening right now. We got a lot of shit that is not cool, you know. So I think that we're cool. All... No, it's not cool. And it's if you know history, it's a playbook out of a lot of bad moments in history.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I mean, I think people love the circus. They definitely like the clown, but it's like they're enjoying the circus. They enjoying the ride. Shalay, what do you think? Is this good for Black people or is this bad for Black people?
I think it's not good, but is it bad? I mean, I guess it depends on what we do at the moment.
I love that. That's where I'm at. Felice, what about you? What you think? You're muted, babe.
I think discomfort is a good thing for us. I think I know for me personally, what it did for me was it helped me to start preparing more. It helped me to start dotting my I's and crossing my T's to make sure me and my peeps are going to be okay. And not just my peeps, but positioning me in my business to make sure I'm here for the long haul in order to help my peeps. And so the discomfort just put a fire in me. It challenged me to up my game.
Yeah. All right. Dr. Charms, is it good for Black people or bad for Black people?
I think it's bringing Black people together. I mean, we got boots on the ground, centers and everything else. I think we're having a cultural genesis because we're forced to be more insular because of what's going on now. This happened during the first Trump presidency, where because it's so blatant, I think sometimes with the liberals being kind of playing both sides, people can kind of fall into a fantasy, and with it being so blatant, it forces us to be more insular.
Exactly. I feel like this is the best time to be alive. I really do. I think we're seeing history being made, and I think this is a revolution for Black people. But I will say, and I said it last week on my podcast, the revolution this time will not be televised. It will be monetized. And so I think Black people are getting information, and we're starting to really do things where it counts, and that's financially. We getting our financial house in order. And I thank God for this clown in office, because it's making us, just like you said, be more insular. So that's my opinion. But let's look at old Nelly. Let's look at old Nelly and see what the hell he talking about.
I'm all for everybody staying positive about any and everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm a glass half full type of guy, and I just am more empowered on bringing people together and making sure that we all get what we need when we need it and why we need it.
So what do you think? Is Nelly is he Uncle Tommen? Is he doubling down? What is he looking at the glass as being half full, or he don't want to be a fool? Oh, bars. Is he looking at the glass as being half full, or is this Negro just a fool? Dr. Charm.
I'm the only community that we're the only community that elevates people who are not scholars for leadership roles. Nelly is an entertainer. He was recently arrested, I think, within the past 6 months for a drug position. This is not who I'm going to be leaning towards for my political acumen. I'm just not. And Malcolm talked about that. We need to elevate the right kind of people to get our opinions from. He was a paid performer. He's a Trump supporter, obviously. I'm not taking his opinion seriously.
What about you, Shalay? You wanted to say something?
That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, it's a yes, massa moment, okay? And he's chucking and jiving and all that kind of stuff. And why are we even asking him the question?
Why is he irrelevant?
We shouldn't be asking him the question.
Because he's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Do you think he lost his credibility, Vanessa, by his association with Trump?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. But I'm not even sure, like Dr. Trump was saying, like, I've never taken any political advice from Nelly or the majority of entertainers, unless you are really into politics. But I mean, yeah, a lot of them are, in it for the money and the quick position. And yeah, I think that he has lost a lot of credibility with the people that thought, oh, he's cool. But I mean, I've never looked at him as a scholar or anybody that I would take advice from the gate. So I don't even know if that's really a fair statement to say that he had the credibility to be lost
in the first place.
Yeah.
I want to for you from a just from a therapist point of view, we have like watchers, faithful watchers like Brian Stanklin. He watches all the time. I mean Shanklin. And he's a Trump supporter. We're Facebook friends now. We've become Facebook friends by virtue of him following us on here. So I still see him. He's always DMing me something about some Trump BS. Why do you think that there are still people who support this guy, especially in the Black community?
So I'm gonna put this out there for people too, and it might not sound like politically correct, and I'm okay with that. Have you researched where you getting your paycheck from? Because a lot of the people that people are getting their paychecks from are huge Trump supporters and many Trumpsters. And so you're working for these banks, you're working for these health insurance, people who are cutting your checks are many Trumpsters. And so we got to be real slow about how we get ready to throw some people under the bus for stuff we're doing, but unbeknownst to us. And how many paychecks are you really going to pass up? Because at the end of the day, that was a dollar bill.
Yeah.
Right. And so how do we stop people from getting their cash? Like, you know what I mean? And we're Black corporate America. the biggest plantation on the planet. It's a
Mm.
modernized plantation. Are you going to tell those Black people to quit their jobs?
You think that's why they're supporting Trump?
I think that people are going to get paid. I think that the dollar signs speak. I think that people don't want to, wherever they think they can get their paycheck from, they're going to get it. If it's going to allow them to maintain a lifestyle.
So you think that's why? Do you think that's why Nelly? But what about your average Black person?
I think that there's a lot of reasons why people voted for Trump. There's a lot of Black people who are evangelicals. And so even though he only stands on the two, the abortion and the what else? The abortion and like he does a lot for people who want to put their children in private schools, different things like that. So people who are evangelicals, you got a lot of Black people who are with Trump based upon their faith and religious affiliations. And so even though they know he's not the best candidate, that they voted against, they voted based upon their faith. Right. Mm-hmm. If they had another choice, they probably would have chosen it. But he was the best one for their faith. And so I'm just saying that there's many, many reasons why people did what they did, not necessarily because they like Trump, but because there was some aspect of him that they agree with. And so I'm just saying that before we throw Nelly up under the bus, there's a lot of average Black people who getting their checks cut by many Trumpsters. And there's going to be a lot of Black people who you going to tell, don't go to work. Because, you know, they love Trump. They're going to cut a lot of checks to support him to get into the presidency. But they cutting your check too. And
but that's delusion, because it don't matter who's in the office, your check going to get cut. They was on
that. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, technically, there's a lot of us who are doing possibly what Nelly did. It's just that he's an entertainer and it was put on the stage.
But they were on Snoop's his helmet real tough too. Remember when this all went down? And I mean, in the comments, a lot of people unfollowed them, but in the comments, they was calling him Uncle Tom, Coon, every name in the book. And I remember I was talking to Warren G one day, and I was like, "What happened?" He was like, "Man, I told him just ignore it." He ignored him, and it kind of went away. This, you got Nelly doubling down. Like, Negro, is you crazy? But obviously, he don't care about his brand, or maybe he has more white fans. I don't know what it is, but we'll talk more about it after the break.
Woo! It's a good show right here, but I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com.
So I want to go to this comment from Monica. She said, if he is irrelevant and shouldn't give his opinion, why are y'all more relevant? That's his opinion. And just because he's Black, it doesn't mean he has to think the way you all think. And that is a relevant comment, Monica. I ain't even mad at you for that. I mean, because we're not a monolith. And what would we be if we all thought the same? We just think he's full of shit. But I think that Black Panther is right. Nelly was always grinning. There's something distrustful about a ninja who always here on there grinning like a Chester cat, and that's Nelly, right? He always shucking and jiving, and he is just proving his shuck and his jive on this. But I'm gonna ask you, Dr. Charm, what I asked Dr. Felice. Why do you think, even in this economy, when Trump has taken away all of these benefits that helped a lot of Americans, DEI that was specifically targeted us, all of these government employees who, 90% of them were African American, were displaced and lost their jobs. Why are Black people specifically still supporting him? and he's taking the history out of schools, and he's being very he's being very clear about his direction. He's putting Christopher Columbus back. He's taken down all the Black people, pioneers who've contributed to this country, but Black people still support him. Why?
I think that it's just really more of a frustration with what the Democrats have done or not done. And so it's less of Trump embracing and more of Democrat effacing. And I'll stand by that. The illegal immigrant policies, letting all those people into the country, and they were getting all these benefits and things. With the migrant crisis, the people were upset about the vaccinations, about the COVID situation where people were being forced to vaccinate or lose their jobs, which I really disagree with. And as a matter of fact, a lot of lawsuits, have been settled on account of that with nurses and hospitals and things. And so I think with Black people, it's certain issues that they support with Trump versus it being a personality. And also just a lot of frustration with the Democratic Party. The Democrats are now strategizing on how they can win back the Black vote and the Black high regard that they've always had historically. And that's really the crux of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Black people are breaking away from the whole idea of this Democratic plantation and dependency. And we because they've had us for the last 50 years. Lyndon B. Johnson said, I'm gonna have all of them voting Democrat over the next, and he did, and that's what we kind of do in large numbers. What's your opinion, Vanessa, on why some Black people are still, because I do, and when we've talked about this before, I see in the comments people say trans, do you believe a woman is a man, and that's the only thing that they really say is trans, like trans.
I mean, coming from a family that has just been really, really involved historically in like civil rights, I think that it is absolutely irresponsible for us to be so whatever we're feeling and erase everything that they work for. I mean, I think that's really disrespectful. I mean, you can be upset at the Democratic Party, but and I'm not even, because I mean, sometimes I'm independent, I vote conservative, but this caliber of conservative is a different type of individual. I mean, when you read through Prop 25, it is extremely disrespectful, I feel, for the people that know their history.
Refresh us. What's Prop 25?
Not Prop 25.
Project
2025. Exactly. Thank you. But, and you look at the history of what our people sacrificed, and you're just like, well, I'm so frustrated that I'm just willing to throw all that shit away over trans or things that I feel like could have been altered without putting this person who is so far extreme. He's extreme in everything, right? And so, I mean, when I think about Black people supporting Trump, I have to lean in towards, you have a certain group of people who just want to be different. And then you have a certain group of people who might be frustrated with Democratic Party, but also just know that Obama was deporting folks left and right. Obama's deportation, when you look at how many folks Obama deported, it just wasn't in the media like that. So I feel like, too, when we don't research and we do our failure, we allow media to just tell us and feed us anything. But when you look at Obama's deportation records, they are large. Like, he had one of the highest deportation records as a president than any other president. So I think it's not just, I just think that people get worked up over issues that they don't really know a lot about.
I think because he wasn't locking people in cages, he wasn't putting people in cages. We didn't see, because he wasn't putting people in cages like Trump was. Before I get to you, Shalay, I want to look at this video about Trump's rating because it's at an all-time low. It's like low down to the flow, low. How much lower can you go? And so it's funny because we'll talk about it when we come back. Let's look at this video about Trump.
We're seeing these poll numbers. Tomorrow marks 100 days for Trump in office, and he is ringing that in with some very low marks. Let's go through some of them, starting with a new ABC News Washington Post poll, which finds just that 39% of Americans approve of the way Trump is doing his job. That's compared to 55% who disapprove. Back in February, mind you, those numbers were 45% positive and 53% negative. Trump's approval rating in this poll is lower than any president at the 100-day mark of their first or second term. So this is historically low for President Trump. According to the Washington Post, Trump has seen a decline of 10 points among white people without a college degree, who of course are a key part of his political coalition. Trump's also down 13 points among adults who are under the age of 30. The Post also notes that Trump is underwater among independents, a group that he just narrowly lost back in November. Among that voting bloc, 33% approve of his job handling, while 58% disapprove.
Now, that dude was pissed when Fox News read that poll. He was ready to fire somebody. What do you think about this whole idea of Trump's? People are starting to wake up, but you see the uneducated white people, they only decline by what, 10%? So what are your thoughts on where he is in terms of his ranking, Shalay?
So I believe that decline among the non-educated whites, the 10% decline, that is based on things that they're getting taken away from them. I think that's solely because he's doing everything that they were rooting for and saying that they wanted, but they didn't think it was going to touch them. So now that it's touching them, they're like, that's not the way it was supposed to be. And going back to what you guys were talking about why Black people voted for Trump, it's still an anomaly that I'm just like, I get all the points of like the Democratic Party and everything, but like Vanessa was saying, like to go with someone who is clearly has dangerous, not just uncomfortable ideals, dangerous ideals. And for Black people to vote on that, knowing full well what he was going to do. They put out that Project 25, what he was going to do. They all knew what he was going to do. And to vote, like I have a client, she's Black, it's a woman, she's a police officer. And I know that a lot of her colleagues were voting for Trump, and it seemed to like sway her. I'm like, mentally, is that a part of it? You get into these circles and you're hearing the talk and the headlines and the dog whistle and the tidbits, the sound bites. And then you get wrapped up in that, but you forget about the fundamental issue of this person is clearly dangerous to non-white people. Like clearly, we've known that for years. So I'm still trying to figure out, and I know there are a lot of variables behind it, but I'm still trying to figure out why Black people would take that extreme route and vote for them. But as far as his approval rating, not surprised at all, but I do think it's going to ebb and flow with what he does.
So you also have to take into consideration all Black people are not created equal. Everybody don't necessarily prescribe to Black. And so, you've got some Black people who really do think that they separate and that a lot of the things that are happening to the race is not necessarily who they are or how they're going to be affected. So everybody don't prescribe to Black. And so that's another reason, like they don't.
And with that being said, though, I could see how somebody would be fooled to vote for him, quite possibly. I don't know what Project 2025 is. I'm not doing any of that. But for you to double down here in the first 100 days is like, okay, now, Negro, are you really kidding me right now? This man has, just like you said, dangerously have done things against Black people, and you're still supporting him. That's where there's some mental illness and some disconnect and maybe some dissonance, all of that. But we're going to talk more about it when we come back from the break.
I know you're busy. You got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
So listen, we know that all Black people are not a monolith. And we know that, some, Black people we have different socioeconomic statuses. We all come from different places. We all have different benefits. But I don't know if you guys did you guys see that video of Trump trying to jack that reporter to make him
He don't make it be so. That's one thing. It's like he's a wizard. He's just gonna make it be so.
Pissed he wouldn't agree with him. He's like, no.
Did y'all Denise and Charm, did y'all see it? Tell what it was. Tell what happened.
So a reporter was interviewing him about, I think it's the guy, I don't know how to pronounce his name, the guy that they deported to El Salvador, to the prison. And Trump was saying he had MS-13 tattooed on his fingers. And the guy was saying, no, that was Photoshop. And Trump was like, nah. He was looking at him like, he was giving him the signal like, don't say that. He was like, no, it wasn't. And the guy was like, well, he was interviewed in El Salvador. And it wasn't there. It was Photoshop. And Trump was still saying, no. It's like, he's just going to make it be what it is. Not even is in his mind. He doesn't even believe it. He's just going to make it be what he wants to say it is.
Let me show y'all. Hold on. Let me show you. Go to my Facebook real quick. So watch this, y'all. Watch this.
Of a gang. And then they look, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute.
Wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
He had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshop. That
was Photoshop. Terry, you can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. I picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture. We'll
and you think it was Photoshop? Well,
here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Don't look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine, sir. I want to get to Ukraine.
No. He had MS, as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's fake news.
In El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't there, but they're there now, right?
No,
but
they're in your picture.
Terry,
Ukraine, sir.
He's got MS-13 on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay,
we'll take a look.
It's such a disservice.
We'll take a look at that.
Why don't you just say it? Yes, he does, and go on to something else.
It's contested.
Trump has a vocabulary. I cannot take anybody seriously that just takes it, because this man reminds me of like a third grader. It's like you just can't possibly. He just is not. It doesn't seem like it's all here. Like, I'll be honest, like, I really believe there's some mental, narcissistic, psychopathic type of mental issues that are going on in this man's head. He never takes accountability. He's literally trying to bully the journalists to lie. Yes. He's like, well, we interviewed him in El Salvador. It's Photoshop. And he's just committed to the lie. He is very committed to his lies, though. I will say that. He's very committed to his lies. And really, I want to address a comment. So, and it's just the end. I'll just address the end of the comment. It says, while transferring wealth to immigrants who refuse to pay debt of slavery. I don't know if this is in return to why people voted for Trump, but I just want to make it clear. I understand the frustration of reparations not being paid because Black people absolutely deserve them. But when we think about an administration of when we talk about debt, more debt is actually being transferred to Black people under this administration. So not only are we not moving closer towards reparations in this administration, but we are now moving more Black folks who have student loan debt, who can't qualify for homes, into more debt and more wealth disparity. And I think that's important to talk about, because you can say, well, the Democrats are not getting reparations passed fast enough. Well, you know what? We've moved a whole milestone now away from reparations. And now we are actively putting first generation college students who are majority Black and brown, but I'm just going to talk about the Black portion.
86% of Black students have student loans.
Into debt. At least what I can say is when you look at Democrats running, they were running off the platform of trying to get more Black home ownership, offering housing vouchers, and trying to get student loan debt erased, which counts against you when you're going to get a house. That's which right. Significantly, if we know that real estate is a big part of Black wealth, and we know that we can't qualify for the type of communities and the type of real estate that we need in the communities that we need, then common sense will tell you that student loan debt is a major milestone. So anybody that's against erasing that is not for Black people.
No, but Karen said, so you ladies believe a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man? That's what's important to her.
Who cares?
If we're talking about Black wealth,
reparations,
I'm not
you guys
concerned
believe
about
that women
3%.
can be men and men can be women?
You know what? I'm not concerned about 3% when you look at 86%. So my thing is pick your battles. Like, are we talking about improving the Black community and Black wealth, or are we just going to focus on one thing? And honestly, a lot of those legislative things can be fixed at the local and state level. So, but when you talk about federally erasing loans, you want to get someone in there that's for you.
Not only is he saying we're going to go ahead and reinstate it, but we're going to garnish your wages if you don't pay them. We're going to garnish your wages. But Charm, did you want to say something? Because it looked like you had something to comment.
Yeah, Trump's the way he verbalizes things in that whole interview with the reporter, that's straight out of the Roy Cohn playbook. I mean, Roy Cohn was his mentor, attorney, and that's his attack and counterattack, just deny. And so it's a tactic. It's really not a play on how his intelligence level or anything like that. But I do agree.
I thought it was because he was stupid.
No, Roy Cohn, y'all got to look at Roy Cohn, a mentor of my
OHEN.
A really good friend of mine who's a lawyer. She, kind of hit me to Roy Cohn, and basically he molded Trump. Like he molded Trump, and that whole thing, like, well, that's the sky's blue. Well, no, it's not. It's red. That's like straight out of the Roy Cohn playbook. And it's
Cohn, spell Cohn.
K-O-H-N. Roy K-O-H-N. He mentored Trump for many years.
Can I just say one thing?
I do agree, though, that he does have some, definitely have narcissistic tendency. I had a conversation with a psychiatrist years ago during the first administration, and they're not supposed to do this. They're not supposed to diagnose based on, considered unethical for them to diagnose based on conversation. Because like regular doctors, we have to do a physical exam, but psychiatrists, they can listen to you talk. But this psychiatrist, we were at a work party, and he was like, yeah, he has all the tendencies of a narcissist. I mean, he's not the only one. People who are attracted to celebrity can have narcissistic traits, but I do think Trump is a narcissist.
Can I just say one thing, to interject? When we see comments like, oh, so you're saying a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man, or what about gay people because they bother me, whatever it is. Y'all, it's silly. Stop. It's so for real, like it gets my blood, like my ears are hot. It's silly. Those aren't the issues that are going to make or break the Black community. It just isn't. So can we please just stop thinking about that? Like, if you really voted for Trump because you're concerned about trans people, something's wrong. Something, not even something is wrong.
And at the end of the day, we raise our children. We raise our children. If you are parenting and putting the values in your kids that you should, then they should turn out the way that you intended them to. I know that there's those small percentages that just go their route, but we are diminishing the impact that we as parents and our community and our family have in our children's lives. Absolutely. So generally, if you pour into them the way that you should, you will get a product the same way that you do work or anything else in life. So I think just, focusing on 3% of a population when we got, 86% and we got way bigger wealth issues than that BS. I was going to ask you something, Dr. Charm, too. You said, what was the guy's name? Because I'm going to look him up.
Roy Cohn, K-O-H.
Roy Cohn. So and I don't know because I'm not, and maybe you and Dr. Felice can talk about this. But even with him, when you look at Donald Trump, even with people that do stuff like that, could it be a possibility that something's wrong with him too? Because a normal brain, like if we're looking at the same sky, and we see, like I'm looking at something, and someone keeps telling you no, it's pink, it's pink, it's pink. There has to be some sort of shit going on up here, because that's not normal for, like, even MS-13, for you to just continuously lie and lie and lie. Like, there's
Straight up.
something. I feel like
with a straight face.
Yeah, just, and you
Even though
believe
you
it.
see the
You
lie.
believe your lies. When
you're
I read
putting it more
online,
on you're putting it more on this whole psychological capacity and this kind of thing, and that's separate from tactics. Like, this is he's using a debate, and he's using a tactic that was taught to him by a shrewd attorney. I think it's shrewd. It works for him. Unfortunately, it doesn't make sense to most people, but it works for him because he's the president now. So obviously it did something.
And then you think about, like, what he says about China, they want to work with us, and China's like, no, that's fake news.
I mean, yeah, you gotta be right. It's something, I don't know. Maybe
I think some of it is, oh no, we're just gonna go with the lie, and other people will believe the lie, as we can see, like something with some
because
humans,
they're crazy,
right?
Because they hate you more than they love themselves.
So some of it is, I believe, we're going to go with the lie. Some of it is, I believe some of these people believe, I know people personally that lie so much, they have convinced themselves of this. It is totally a lie, but they have convinced themselves, nah, that's the truth. There's something there with that.
Felice, what do you think? We talking over Dr. Felice. Felice, you got something to chime in?
No, because I think that, y'all are bringing up a valid, concern whether or not there's some mental issue going there. Well, narcissism is a personality disorder, which is a mental health condition. But also, I believe that if his tactic is that's not it, the level of rigidity and his inability to see a different side could lean towards somewhere on the Asperger's or autism scale, right? No, I'm serious.
Well, we know Elon Musk is.
Yeah, no, my brother has autism and he's extremely rigid. So if he believes something or wants something, he stays there no matter what. And it's really hard to interject another way to him. You have to kind of ease it into him in order for him to be able to chew on something new. Mm-hmm. So that could be a possibility, but I'm not gonna, but his son is autistic. And so you never know. But if it's not a tactic, that level of rigidity is a little extreme, where you cannot be convinced of something else, even if someone has something factual to show you.
Compulsive liar is a mental illness. We're gonna go to this video. I know y'all want to talk about it. Let's look at this video, y'all. Where the black people at?
Line dancing.
Where them fans at?
Where the fans at?
I'm gonna drive down to DC, see what the white folks is doing. I don't see near one of y'all out there. Where y'all at? Where is y'all at?
Did nobody get hurt?
I will put money that Trump thinks that this is in celebration of him.
Did you
see the numbers?
He's convinced himself of that too. But no, I was, and I should have researched this more, but I saw this a lot coming up that said 1 in 5 CEOs are psychopaths. And it's, and I was going to research it more, but I saw it on like a couple different sites, get a quick Google search, and I thought
psychopath or sociopaths? It's different.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
But
your top professions for sociopathy and psychopathy is doctors and ministers, like church ministers.
Oh, I believe that. A lot of narcissistic,
particularly surgeons, because they get to cut up. Like, so it's not like your general practitioner, but it's like your surgeons. So because they gotta be able to separate all that. But yeah, that's interesting.
I can see that.
So ladies, where we at? Where's we at?
Where them fans at? I got a new fan.
That's Where we at?
Beyonce tickets. I saw Kendrick last night. I'm gonna get my nails done tomorrow.
That part.
Let me tell you something. I got
Black
shirts
women-
on conversationtees.com. I got a shirt to say we minding our black business and we mining our black business. That's what we doing right now. We are getting information and we are minding our black business and we doing what the hell we got to do because y'all the ones that put this motherfucking office.
Yeah, we tried to tell y'all.
Right.
I tell y'all, but y'all didn't want a black woman so bad. Even these black men. I mean, most of you guys voted for Kamala, but even y'all was over here talking all that shit, especially when we were coming live on here about how y'all did not. She wasn't black. Y'all was so more concerned about the fact that y'all thought she was Indian or she wasn't black that you would vote against your own best interest. Nelly says black people should stay positive after 100 days because his glass is half full. But I think Nelly is a goddamn fool. Let's look at this. Let's go to commercial. Gwen.
Are you a black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us a little bit about what you do, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
She's who you said Gwen sound like a hypnotherapist. She's like,
That's a Gwen.
You are
Gwen sound like a
hypnotherapist. Y'all, okay, let's look at this last video.
Today, we're going to
I'm getting sleepy. Let's look at this last video, Gwen.
Okay, I must digress. I am so tired of black people being scared of the Republicans and Trump. Can y'all get a grip? Okay, the reason why I'm saying this is because today at work, I was telling this black lady how I don't know what job I'm going to have after I quit this job and go off to college in the fall, right? She going to tell me don't plan too far ahead because Trump's in office. Girl, so? And after hearing that comment today, it just really confirmed the thought I already had in my head that black people are scared of Trump, they're scared of Republicans, and I just can't understand why. Because first of all, we survived way worse. I mean, this is nothing. I mean, this is like stage 1. Like, our ancestors would have a field day with this. Like, if our ancestors would see what we're complaining about, what we're up against, they will laugh at us. They had the most top tier, vengeful white people. The demons on top of demons. We got what? Stage 1 demons? But back to the point. Number 2, the reason why I'm not scared of Trump being in office is it's 2025. We got weapons, they got weapons. We got guns, they got guns. We know how to fight, so why would I have to be scared? And here's my thing. If y'all really so scared, because I always hear, especially black men, say that the next 4 years is going to be a roller coaster for black people. It's going to be for black people, right? Okay, so what a group said, what a organization, what an army. Like, if y'all so scared, if y'all don't know what the 4 years going to hold for black people, okay, what are the plans? What are we doing about that? We just gonna talk about it. We just gonna comment about it all day in the store. Talk about it all day in the store. What are the actions that we're taking? Like, I'm tired of hearing all this talk. Like, if y'all really scared, go do something. And that's what I mean. Our ancestors, when they were scared or when they felt like they needed protection, what they made? The Black Panther Party. Amen.
Let me tell you something. I don't know them black people that's scared because ain't now one a black person that I know scared. Them white folks, oh, they scared. Oh, they for real scared because they've never seen anything like this in their lives. We used to adversity. We used to oppression. So I don't know those black people, but I know what it did for a lot of the black people I know is it's given us a voice to say, hey, we got to get our shit together because we know these motherfuckers ain't thinking shit about us. What do you think about that? Do you know any black folks scared, Vanessa?
No, I think matter of fact, and I think that people have started strategically planning what they're going to do for their future. I feel like a lot of my friends and circle has dialed back on where they spend their money at. They've been extra strategic about how and when they spend their money, including myself. And so for me, I feel like I've seen my bank account because I'm spending less, and I'm strategically looking at where I spend my money. And I see a lot of other Black people doing that, and I think that that's a bigger testament because I mean we know America was built on white supremacy, corporations, the rich stay rich, specifically white men. So you might have people that work at these jobs that have to get their paychecks in order to rent, mortgage, whatever. But strategically, I think it's important where you spend your money at, where you circulate that money at. So you taking money from them, but you have to put it back into the community and the companies that support your initiatives and the businesses. So I think that's been the response. I don't know anyone that's just sitting around here scared. I think people are getting more informed.
Mm-hmm. What? Who was that? Richie Rich said, "If you're scared, go to church." Y'all don't know that's a Bay Area connection. If you're scared, go to church. Charm,
go to church. That's my song.
What you know about that?
Ice Cube.
Well, Richie Rich said it first, but Dr. Charm, what you think? You know some scared Black people?
Man, I just saw Sinners for the second time yesterday.
Don't tell me. I didn't see it yet. Please don't. No spoilers.
I don't give away movies. Okay. So I saw Sinners for the second time yesterday. And Sinners is set in 1930s Mississippi. And they actually filmed Sinners on a plantation. And there are scenes of people picking cotton. And I found myself tearing up yesterday because I was like, my grandmother was a sharecropper. Like my family members picked cotton, I'm pretty sure. I know they were enslaved. And so the brutality that we endured, the lynchings, the economic deprivation, all of the things that we endured. And I have a recording of my grandmother, and she basically said she died when she was 101. And she was basically telling us about what it was like being a sharecropper. And she said we were slaves because we didn't have any rights. So what they went through and how we have it now, like this is very, very, very light work. It really is. So no, we're not scared. I'm proud to be a descendant of my grandmother and her grandmother who picked cotton and who planted crops and who built the foundation, the economic foundation for this country that everybody gets to come over and immigrate to and enjoy. We built this country. We gonna be all right.
We gonna be all right, right? Felice, in your field, because I know you talk about to a lot of people who probably have some fear. Are you seeing that as being a theme for Black folks? What you seeing?
Not with the Black people. The Black people are.
You look pretty, by the way. You look pretty today, by the way, Dr. Felice.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I think that. Oh, thank you, Dr. Charm. I think that if the Black people express a fear, it's so that they don't. I think they're afraid that we have the possibility of going backwards. So when she said that we're at stage one, then we need to make sure we stay at stage one or eliminate stage one so that it doesn't go to stage two. Because the things that he's doing and bypassing, like those are stages to go back to the way things were. And so I think that's what they're afraid of. But really, it's a lot of my white clients that are really fearful.
They should be.
They are. And it's them for various reasons. And I talk to them, especially my white female counterparts. Why are y'all so silent? What is it? Why are y'all not doing something? And so, she explained some things to me, but they're very fearful. But more Black people are just afraid of what the possibilities are if we don't do something to put a nip in what he's doing right now. Like, that's the strategy. Like, I know we're taking care of our stuff and our finances and stuff, but we also have to galvanize to say, how do we stop this and make sure that no one else comes behind him and continue his
I think Black people, we needed this disruption to happen. I think we needed this because if the status quo continued, Black people would never get a footing. And the idea of us being our wealth being a zero in 2053, we were on the trajectory of that happening had the status quo continued, because we would have still been interdependent on the government. We wouldn't be looking at being self-sufficient. We wouldn't be looking at working together, thinking outside the box. Discomfort, like you were saying, it makes you grow. Either you're going to shit or get off the pot. And I think the America needed this disruption for us to be able to get outside of that box and make movement. And I'm happy. But for you, Shalay, well, I know you sounds like you got your own question you want to answer, but I was going to ask you something else. I was going to ask you, why do you think white people are so fearful right now?
Well, can I go back to that? I actually want to chime in on what y'all were just talking about, because I think I have a little bit of a different perspective. I have been a little nervous. I'm not going to say I'm scared and shaking in my boots. Again, like Dr. Felice was saying, I'm putting everything in order, making sure, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. But I have a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old. And I cannot sit here and say that it has not been bothering me at some points where I'm losing sleep, like waking up thinking about this stuff, their future. And if we allow these things to go past the level 1, and that's what they're trying to do. The young lady mentioned demons. Those demons still exist. They did not go away. So understanding that our ancestors went through hell, right? We also need to understand that we're not built for that they went through. And we are in a place where we are really complacent too. And we are kind of out of touch with that experience. So we don't believe that it could really go back that way, but this is what these people are trying to do. And the demons do still exist. So the thing is the plans, because I can definitely say that I am concerned. I'm concerned for my girls. And if they can dismantle all of these things, and they've done a lot within 100 days, they can dismantle more, and they will, because that's their plan. So I think that we should not be complacent and just be like, we are going to be all right because we have to. But as far as the guns, we can't outgun them. Like I said, we can't outgun the military and things like that. So I think that we need to have, and I'm going to say this as a secret, on Underground Railroad, we need to rebrand it, but we need to be talking to each other in these situations about this stuff and coming up with our plans on how we're going to get stronger together and things like that.
That's the conversation that needs to be continued to have. And Tierra said, look at Target. They asked to meet with Al Sharpton because Black people were in formation. We are in formation like never before. But here's the secret, y'all. So last Friday, I spoke at Melanin Con, and they had me speaking behind Jamal Bryant. How you gonna have me come behind Jamal Bryant? Like, how you at the Jamal Bryant? But I represented, I did my thing. However, Jamal Bryant was actually at that meeting. They could not publicize that because, and it's on my YouTube page, they couldn't publicize it because of the White House being against him. One of the things he said is, you've never heard of them, white people bombing, NAACP. You haven't heard of them bombing the any of the Black organizations, but you did see them bomb Black Wall Street because they're more afraid of economics than they're afraid of an orator or you marching. Right. Mm-hmm. And so and he said, he was like, he said, I was coming back from Ghana or something when somebody called me. They was like, hey, they got your picture up at the White House. Remember, they had his picture up at the White House. They had they had a Black History Month program at the White House. And these Black people had his head up on like the stick, the trans stick, like, coming after you, Jamal Bryant. And he's like, I'm thinking, yo, they celebrating me. And he was like, I go to the nearest TV at the airport and they got my stick up. And he said, because this was 2 days after I asked for them to do the Target fast. They're coming to attack me. So there were 4 demands that they made for Target. Target had made a commitment to donate $2 billion to Black-owned businesses after George Floyd. And 2 days after Trump became president, they rolled that back. They said, we ain't doing it no more. We just not going to do it. There are 3 other demands. Yeah. So there were 3 other demands that Jamal Bryant asked of them. It was to create, I have it written down. It was to teach Black people retail business. Black people spend $12 million a day at Target. So to create teach retail business to HBCUs. It was 3 other things. Only thing that Target committed to was the one. So he said we're still gonna continue to boycott because they're not doing all four, because we spend $12 million a day. It's $4.3 billion a year Black people spend in Target. So he said 2 days after he met with the president of Target, Trump met with the president of Target, and they ain't been able to get a hold of them since. So he was like, I don't really want to talk because y'all got these cameras out here, but he did share that with us. And so that was really interesting. So the economic power that we have as Black people is way more powerful. So what we have to do, just like you said, Vanessa, is we got to watch where we're spending, who we're spending with, what we're doing, because money talks beyond the racism. The racism is what keeps the people at the bottom disconnected and fighting. The white people at the top, they are just trying to stay in power. So how do they confuse the masses? Is through the racism, so they can keep themselves in power. So what do you think, Vanessa? See, you nod your head.
Well, I'm agreeing with that, Touche. I believe that the main point is economic power. So I mean, I really believe money talks, bullshit walks. Everything else is, when you start to control your money, corporations move differently. You can move, even we see it. I mean, America is ran by money, lobbyists, so I think it's very important and essential for Black people to start controlling where we spend our money. That's literally, to me, that's the biggest change, or one of the biggest change, besides like real estate and, followed by like making better decisions in the stock market. But if we really want to see things politically and policy move in our direction, then we gotta be super, super anal about where and how we spend our money. So I agree with all of that, Constance. Like, I'm 100%. I don't have any 100% in agreement.
Target, one of the things because I was talking about this on my podcast yesterday, they said $2 billion cost Target $8 billion in 90 days or 60 days.
And I hope it continues. I hope it
$2
continues.
billion.
Message. That's what I was gonna say. I don't care if they talk it out shopping. Like, no.
Yeah. Send a message.
Yeah.
Because it only takes, you take one corporation, you send them a message.
That's
you
it.
kick them so hard in their ass that the other ones think twice before they ever do something like that.
Absolutely.
Or,
And that's the thing, because people are like, well, why don't we doing this, and why are we boycotting Walmart? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And once that one piece gets gone, the other people they're going to get in alignment. They're going to see, because they see what's happening to Target. So we already see Walmart starting to have different conversations, and other corporations that are starting to move differently as a result, because they don't want to do that. But anyway, we're going to do our final thoughts, and we're going to get y'all out of here. Shalay, I want you to give your final thoughts, and where can they find you?
So final thoughts for me, we need to take celebrities off of a pedestal and really hone in on what it is that we believe and why we believe it, okay? And not be so easily swayed for any shenanigans. We need to have tunnel vision for our own personal goals, for our family, for ourselves individually, our families, and our communities, and build it brick by brick up that way. I really do believe we need to have a resurgence of some kind of I don't want to call it an underground railroad, but y'all get what I mean, where we're talking together, because we don't need to publicize anything. We need to just stop talking and just like talking out loud, and we need to talk to each other. I'm Shalay with Vital Source Realty, Shalay Camilla with Vital Source Realty. I am in Massachusetts, but I can help you buy or sell real estate anywhere in the United States and Canada. You can visit my website at vitalsourcerealty.com and follow me on Instagram at Shalay Camilla.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Shalay. All right, Dr. Felice.
I think that for such a time as this, I am so grateful that a fire has been lit up under my people for us to prepare, position, and be able to pursue. And so we need to stay that way so that we can be good for ourselves and others. And yes, I'm with Shalay. Let's start talking to one another, right? Let's start getting together and figuring out, okay, how do we make sure that stage one gets defeated? I am Felice Hightower Britt, your Be Big Coach. You can find me on b.big.coach on Instagram and Be Big Coach on Facebook. And you can also go to my website, www.thebebigcoach.com.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Felice. All right, Miss Vanessa.
My final thoughts are, let's be very strategic, continue to be very strategic about where we spend our money. I'm starting to just Google search, right? If I need to buy something, I do a quick Google search about the company, its policies, what it believes in terms of diversity, and I try to look for who it donates to. I know it sounds like a lot, but it takes 3 minutes. But I think this type of discipline, when we become disciplined in how we spend our money, we're going to see a lot of changes. In terms of the big giants, Walmart, Amazon, and Target, look for other places where you can spend your money, because there are other Black companies. There are some corporations that still are keeping their DEI initiatives, that are really trying to stand against this administration, and they really deserve we need to show them that these are things that we value. When we go spend our money at places that don't value or respect us, we just further send a message to put our Black community in the back burner. And so if you don't take anything else from this podcast today, be very intentional about where you spend your money. My name is Vanessa Gopal. I run a construction company called Winter Remodeling out in Los Angeles. If you ever need some work done, please hit me up. All my information can be found at VGopal.
All right. Thank you, Miss Vanessa. And we're going to round it up with you, Dr. Charm. You telling futures, you delivering babies, or what you telling us? What we doing?
Look, I always have said this. We really cannot afford to be fatalistic. Maintain your mental health, Black people. I cannot endorse the Chicken Little, the sky is falling, because we have been through hell. And we have always been resilient. We can be smart and still be optimistic and still fight for what we believe in. So that's where I'll leave that. Follow me on Instagram, CharmGirl77. I'm putting out comedy skits like every other week. I just did my Shannon Sharp one, and I got my first 10,000 views.
So girl.
Yes, I did a Shannon Sharp one. That was fun. For people who are wanting to forecast spiritually and want to look ahead and see what is in store for you, how can you handle these things? What is your job looking like? Love life looking like? Career? You can go to my website, spiritualcharm.com, and book a reading.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Charm. Which one? You on TikTok? Is that where the 10K is?
The 10K is on TikTok. Yeah, the TikTok is CharmGirl7777, and then the IG is CharmGirl77. But yeah,
I follow you, girl. I follow you.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Costas. I've been seeing your videos. Yeah.
All right, listen, ladies, this has been a really important conversation. It was necessary. And as we continue to navigate the complexities of race, politics, and economics, one thing remains extremely clear. We need unity in the community. J. Edgar Hoover said the biggest threat to America was what? Negro unity. Okay. It's also important, like Vanessa said, to take action. We got to do it. We got to vote. We got to become community minded. We got to know what's coming down the pipe. All right. While it's important to stay hopeful, we can't ignore the challenges that we face. So it's up to us to fight for change, to protect our history, our legacy, and build our future for Black Americans, and make sure that we're valued, make sure we're heard, and make sure that we are empowered. So you all, let's keep pushing forward and holding our leaders accountable, and never forgetting that the power to create change is in our hands. So thank you all for being a part of this conversation today. And remember, staying positive is important, Nelly, but staying active is absolutely the key. We're going to see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Peace in the streets.
Shout out to Joe in the comments.